Can't touch anybody. Can't sleep with my husband, obviously, because I can't touch anybody. I very rarely go out. I can't cook. I can't open the front door. I can't pick up the post. I can't have a shower. I can't have a bath. I never shop. I throw away clothes constantly.
Wendy Johnston is one of 2.5 million people in Britain suffering from obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD.
You check the front, you check the back, you check the sleeves, you check the cuffs, you check the collar.
Yes.
Can I take it?
You can.
Is it safe?
It is.
Can you don't avoid this bit near me because I'm dirty.
Okay.
And it's safe for me to put on later, yeah?
Yes.
Promise?
Yes.
Tell me to put it down.
Put it down.
You sure?
Yes.
That's it.
Her irrational fear of coming into contact with shiny flecks of dirt, paint and glitter has prevented her from touching her husband and their 2 children for 3 years.
It's difficult to have a sex life when you don't touch each other.
Yeah. But we miss it. I do.
Yeah,
It'd be nice too.
they would.
She's tried everything from drugs to therapy, and now, in a last-ditch attempt to conquer her obsessions, Britain's leading expert on OCD has come up with a revolutionary idea. Wendy will move into a house with 2 other extreme sufferers and a team of top therapists. Together, they'll confront their nightmares and help each other to overcome their illness once and for all.
And then I'll go like that and start doing that, and then I'll look in the soles of my shoes like this and step back and then look at the floor, and then I think to myself, okay, fine.
Listen to that little voice of OCD that's saying do this, do this, do this, and do exactly the opposite. So, come on.
Oh,
Brilliant.
Would you like some?
wow, this is hard.
The OCD house will be their home until they're cured of their obsessions. Tomorrow, Wendy will move into the OCD house. She spent the last 3 days packing and repacking a suitcase.
This suitcase here has got everything's wrapped. There's for a start, David hoovered out the suitcase first and checked it over for me. Then we put a plastic bag inside because children have used that like in holiday time things. And then the suitcase next to it has got all my clothes in, which have all been put into pillowcases. We've got a pillowcase full of underwear, a pillowcase full of t-shirts, a pillowcase with jeans and trousers in it.
Yes.
It could be anything in here.
In its most extreme form, OCD looks kind of weird and almost mad, but it's there in all of us. So, for example, if you go on holiday,
Not being awkward, are you?
it's very common for people to check the gas multiple times, check that the door is locked. I mean, sometimes 7 or 8 times, sometimes turning the car and going back, checking again. And that's a version of what people with obsessive compulsive disorder experience.
These normal obsessive tendencies can be triggered into fully blown OCD by an emotional trauma.
Just over 20 years ago, I had actually had a miscarriage, and this is only on reflection because at the time I didn't realise anything particular was happening, but on reflection I noticed that I was becoming very house proud, always tidying up and fussing around the house, and I felt that by keeping the house tidy and clean that I had some sort of control over my life and that I was actually in control of my life. However, in hindsight, I realised that this was the very first symptoms of OCD. Right, the pillowcase has got to be protected, so it's got to go in kitchen roll, which is a kitchen roll over there. This is protect the pillowcase, which has been, David's checked the pillowcase already. So I'll just put this down on the table, because I don't trust that table. It originally started off being frightened of bits of paint being on the floor. and it would literally give me a panic attack. And now that has gone over to glitter or anything that will catch the light.
Her anxiety about contamination from glitter has put a strain on her marriage to husband, David.
I know it affects David enormously. He has basically become my carer. I mean, it's a huge burden on him, and I try to restrict the checking. I ask him to check my clothes.
Take the shirt out of the packet, making sure it doesn't touch the outside.
That bit of thing. You've touched that bit of thing.
That's true. Okay, so I'll just quickly have a look at that, and there's nothing on there. That's fine.
You sure?
Yeah. I hold up the shirt and I look at all of it, looking for glitter. And there's no glitter on that. So I've established that there is nothing foreign on there that's going to upset or cause Wendy any grief.
Her fear of getting glitter on her body or her clothes is so strong, she can't bear to touch anybody.
You know, sometimes you just want to cuddle somebody or give your kids a cuddle at the end of the day, or if they've had a bad day. And every instinct in my body is saying, give your child a cuddle. And to not do it is cruel, not to feel that you can do that. Because every instinct, especially as a mother or as a wife, you know, you come back, you want to say there, and touch somebody. And certainly in the last 3 years, I haven't been able to do that.
Professor Paul Shelkovskis is Britain's leading expert on OCD. Normally, he sees patients for an hour at a time at the Maudsley Hospital in London. Now, inspired by the success of American group therapy, in which OCD patients help each other, he's created a radical new approach for treating the disorder.
We've been developing intensive treatments for OCD and other anxiety disorders, where we actually focus the time into a few days. A question that could come up at this point is how hard we're going to push people, but it's the wrong question. We're not going to push them at all. We're going to help them push themselves, and that's what's really important. And I'm pretty confident these are people who will push themselves to the point of cure. I mean, I think that's probably where we're going here, but I could be wrong.
The professor will place 3 of the country's most extreme sufferers in an ordinary house in London, where they'll help each other confront their horrors in an everyday environment until they're all better.
It is weird going out, because I don't go out very often anymore. It's also going to be, I use the word strange, to meet other people with OCD.
Okay.
Yeah.
Be brave.
Good cause, isn't it?
It is for a good cause.
This one.
Right, we're sure it's 39, aren't we? Okay.
It's supposed to be up.
I guess so.
Sorry. David, good to see you. Hello, Paul. Nice to see you as well.
Hi.
Hello, Wendy.
Hi, how are you?
Welcome. Come on in. Come on in.
you.
Come through. This is your room. As we agreed,
Yeah.
bed linen, all
Not a level
pre-sealed,
bed. Yep.
all that you might possibly want, really.
Joining Wendy in the OCD house is obsessive washer Sophie Prosser Morgan.
So I wash. And sometimes I'll say to my husband, is that enough? Are you sure? How sure are you? And he'll say positive, and I'll say in percentage terms. And he'll say 100%. And I'll still continue. And he'll say, you can stop now. And I'll say, just one more minute.